Wanted to just get some tips on handling emotions during this difficult time. Well, I think that's why we just have to be prepared. And it depends on what type of person you are. And I think that should really dictate how you set up your portfolio. Like, I'm someone that's very risk averse and I just like being in control. And my number one priority is not getting rich. It's just kind of staying rich, if you want to use those terms. So it's just don't lose money. So for me, just watching the world go by and waiting for opportunity, just being in gold and T bills, that just helps me sleep at night. And quite frankly, I don't get too emotional about it because although I hate to see people going into economic hardship or experiencing economic hardship, from just my personal standpoint, I say, well, there's going to be some great opportunities out there. The bigger the crisis, the bigger the opportunity for those who are prepared. And that's why you're a member of Rebel Capitalist Pro. That's why you listen to Lynn, Brent, Chris, Patrick, Jason. That's why you listen to the pros. So you can be prepared and you can sleep well at night. I've only really looking at markets in depth since 2020, and the only form of market panic I've ever experienced was that time the Moscow Stock Exchange failing by more than 50% in a day after the inversion. I know Jim Rogers didn't see enough panic there, but that was enough for me. And even though I can't access those stocks and may never be able to, feeling pretty good about the decision. My question is, in your opinion, did markets move like 2020 or the GFC seem like way more panic than that? Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, Tim, the GFC. I mean, Jim Craner was literally on TV, like almost crying. I remember that. They know nothing. They know nothing. I mean, oh my gosh. Yeah, I've never seen panic. I don't even think COVID was that type of panic. And in a way, it was actually easier to buy because not only did you see the panic, but you saw complete capitulation. I'm in obvious capitulation. Now, I think we saw a lot of capitulation during 2020 as well, but man, it was like everyone was just the world's ending, just the house is on fire, just sell, 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 sell. I mean, everyone on CNBC, everyone was just sell, 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 sell. During COVID, there were still people that were like, "Oh, well, this is gonna be temporary. The economy is still good." Uh, there were a few people like that, but boy, I remember watching I wasn't even into it really, but I remember watching CNBC, and man, I've never seen anything like that. See, is the catalyst that we're waiting for in these sorts of environments is direct government stimulus, or how would we recognize and if the chance stimulus didn't become inflation concern? So, Tim, I would use the yield curve just to determine not only what the probabilities are that we have a recession, but also when we're coming out of it. So, what I'm looking at right now is the yield curve uninverting. So that would be the twos and tens were wildly inverted, 120 basis points a couple weeks ago, but just the other day we got down to about 30. So when the 2-year goes back down below the 10-year where it should be, that's usually when you get the recession. It's not when the curve's inverted. It's when the curve steepens. So I would look that's the next thing that I would encourage everyone really be hyper focused on. When is the curve uninverting or reverting? I don't know what the proper word is. But you guys get what I'm saying. When does that 2-year go back below the 10-year and stay there? That's when you need to be very concerned. And then whatever happens next, in my opinion, will most likely be the kind of what the yield curve has been warning us about. And that's when I think you can start to get greedy. And that's when you can start to really look at taking advantage of opportunities. That's my game plan. And so I think you guys, as members of Rebel Capitalist Pro, you're going to have a massive edge. And knowing that not only is that my game plan, but obviously, Lynn, Chris, Brent's, and we're kind of going to be here in real time going through this experience together. And not that I would put them not that I would put myself in their category, but at least as a member, you're going to be able to tune into these live streams and get kind of our thoughts and what we are doing in our own portfolios as these events happen. And not that you can delegate your thinking to us. I never encourage that, but you can use what we are doing and our thinking to make better decisions for your own portfolio and know that you've got this infrastructure and you've got the tools to use a word from Jerome Powell to not only weather the storm, but to take advantage of these opportunities and to, uh, like we say, to build wealth and thrive. And when during the GFCs, during the COVIDs, the 2020s, during the 2023s or 2024s, that's when you make the most money. That's when there's, like Jim Rogers says, that's when there's a big pile of money that's just sitting in the corner. So we'll all be going through that together, and it's not going to be easy. But obviously, I think as a collective group, with the leadership we have, with the pros in Rebel Capitalist Pro, that gives us all a really big edge. But as far as timing and it's just yield curve, yield curve, yield curve, yield curve.